Do you want to experience the thrill of a Packers game at Lambeau Field? If so, be sure to get your game tickets from the longtime trusted source in Wisconsin, Ticket King. Visit their locations in Milwaukee and Green Bay, or just go to their website, theticketking.com. Again, that's theticketking.com.
And now, for fans of the 13-time NFL champion Green Bay Packers, this is Cheesehead TV Live.
Cheetahs don't stretch and neither do we.
I think you're an idiot. And I mean that with the most respect possible that I can give to an idiot.
Packers Hall of Fame quarterback Jay Cutler.
It's not as fun to say as Equinemius.
That is a perfect example of a wrong opinion. Ring the bell. What is up? Welcome back, Packers fans. Latest edition of Cheesehead TV Live. We're back to talk about a shutout victory and a riff in our family. We hate it when dad and little brother are fighting. Jason Perone and Jeremy.
Dad and mom.
Yeah. Jason Perone and Jeremy Vanderlinden of Cheesehead TV here with you tonight. Jeremy, what's up? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I just want to give a couple shout-outs here to the YouTube chat.
Let's do that. But before we do, we are going to try to take this chat over to our YouTube channel. So, Jeremy, tell them where they can find that.
So you can go to the Cheesehead TV YouTube page. Actually, if you go to the post on cheeseheadtv.com for Cheesehead TV Live, there is a link. If you are looking for where the chat is happening, it's now happening at YouTube on the YouTube channel. So if you want to be part of the show, you want to talk to us, you want to ask us questions, you want to call us idiots or whatever you want to say, you can do that at youtube.com. Cheesehead TV's YouTube page is where that's at. So a couple shout-outs. Thanks, Deez, Gary, Nate, Pilot.
Wait, I'm sorry, Deez?
Deez. We can't say it. If I say it, Al
it will automatically
be disappointed.
Out. Okay.
Al will be disappointed.
Speaking of Al Bracco, I just want to give at Jersey Al a huge shout out. Besides being the
Can you do the Jersey Al voice?
No,
I know
can't.
you do that privately, but
no,
I just
can't.
Need to hear.
Honestly, I can't because I don't know why, because I pick up voices pretty well, and I've been working with Al for over 6 years, but for some reason I don't know. Anyway,
Nate wants to know if you've calmed down.
I have not calmed down.
I told them in the chat you might break your computer.
I am going to break it, and I am very frustrated. Al, I just want to say before we get started, thank you for everything that you do to help this website and especially our show run as smoothly as possible. I know you're not always going to be here for us, but Al knows what I'm talking about. There's always something going on.
He's keeping it together. One last shout out I want to give. Quiet Storms is listening in Hawaii, which I think is pretty awesome.
Yes, and that is very cool, Quiet. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you're not getting in trouble at work. If you're at work listening to us right now, we'll try to be a little quieter.
If we get you in trouble, just quit your job. Just tell your boss, I'm in it to win it. I'm in it for the Packers. I need to hear this show. I don't need this job. Shove it.
So your boss doesn't hear you. We're encouraging people to quit their jobs.
Well, take Brett Favre's advice. Take 2 weeks off, then quit. I mean, the man said it himself.
He did.
So it's okay.
He did. You're right. No, you're right. We have had some really good international follows, and it's growing, and it's great to see. So appreciate everybody across all time zones. But we got a lot to get to. It is Wednesday night. We're on the heels of Transplants, which just went live.
Yep.
And so I always joke with Jeremy, by the time we get on, everything to talk about has already been talked about.
Right.
So now we're talking about it again. So let's start real quick with a breakdown of what we thought of the Packers' performance against the Bills. It's been videoed. It's been snapshotted, gift plays have been broken down. We know who did well, who didn't do well.
Right.
I gotta say, one thing I don't think a lot of people are talking about because it's not sexy to talk about is how about that David Bakhtiari on Jerry Hughes? Jerry Hughes' name didn't get mentioned
down all
one
day.
time.
Yeah, pretty impressive. David Bakhtiari's a stud.
He's the number 2 rated left tackle on Pro Football Focus. Who's number 1?
I'm not sure.
Who cares? It's David Bakhtiari. David Bakhtiari is number 1 left tackle. You're right. It is. He's number 1 and number 2. No, he did an awesome job, and he took on Hughes one-on-one a lot because I was watching that matchup a ton from the Watershed in Tempe, Arizona. If you're a local Arizonan and you're a Packers fan, you must come to the Watershed. We'll be there live doing our pregame show around 9:20 in the morning on Sunday because we're 2 hours behind. Everything is earlier in Arizona, so we get up and we have football for breakfast. It's wonderful.
Well, I have beer for breakfast, and then we talk football.
So come out to the Watershed. But we were kind of, talking about – I was looking at that and watching Bakhtiari. He did a fantastic job. And the defense played really well. Now, I'm of the camp, and I don't know where you fall on the spectrum here, Jeremy. We're going to start on defense.
I hate camping.
Because the defense was saved the day. So we're going to start on defense today. do you think this was the defense playing well, or was it Buffalo being really bad?
A little bit of both. I think the defense is doing some things really well. Mike Pettin, the thing that he brings to the table is that schemed pressure that we saw on Sunday. I mean, that sack that Whitehead had was purely scheme, it was beautiful to see, and that's the kind of stuff that we should be looking for. And they talked about that in the preseason, that they want to get guys free shots at the quarterback. Free rush. And that's what we got to see. That's the stuff that we're looking for, and it's happening pretty consistently for the Packers. For all intents and purposes, the Packers are having a defense that they're having a good season so far, even with the issues they've had with penalties. If you consider the fact that the league doesn't consider those penalties, just erase everything in your mind that happened after those penalties, because the Clay Matthews one should have ended that Vikings game. The league has pretty much admitted such, that the Packers should have a win there.
So that's also, I was just going to say, so that's also admitting the Packers should be 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
And they're not.
So the defense has been pretty good, and they show up when they need it. And people are dogging on them for a lack of pass rush from individuals, but they're figuring out how to get it done within the scheme, which is what Mike Pettin does. Yeah, I would like to see Clay Matthews win more one-on-ones, and I'd like to see Nick Perry, not suck. And I would like to see Kyler Fackrell be Von Miller every week. That would be great. Do you expect him to repeat his performance that he had against the Bills? He had 3 sacks. I don't think that's something that's happening again.
I don't think he'll get 3 sacks in the rest of the time that he's in a Green Bay uniform. But I'm going to enjoy the fact that he had a great game and he pulled some numbers up, because the Packers needed it. Whatever confidence they can take from the Bills game, though, is what I think is important to bring into their other matchups, because I really don't think they're going to find an easier path to victory than they had this past Sunday. We weren't sure how tough it was going to be, because the Bills ran the Vikings out of the gym, and then they showed up and they were the same old Buffalo Bills who couldn't get anything done. Josh Allen, a quarterback,
right?
He was jittery. He did not play well. You know, a couple of the sacks, the Whitehead sack in particular, Whitehead got there and he kind of tripped Allen up. Allen wasn't able to maintain his feet. He's got to work on his footwork.
Nate asks in the chat, Jason, did you just fart?
No.
No.
Did you hear how I paused?
He had to think about it.
Yeah, I had to think about it. I'm like, man, no, that wasn't just now.
No. He's uncertain.
No, that wasn't just now.
Yeah, I think a couple of times we saw Allen get hit, and it was exactly what the referees are looking for, where it was kind of like a glancing blow that he rolled off to the side and still completed the sack and didn't, absolutely crush Allen. So that was great to see. But when last week, when they had their whole conversation and the league came out and said they're not going to do anything differently, and then Matthews talked to team president, his name is not in my head, and Jason's not listening to me. Packers team president, Mark Murphy.
Mark Murphy.
It escaped
forgot Mark Murphy's name.
It escaped my brain for a moment, but it's back, Mark Murphy. So he talked to Mark Murphy. Murphy told him not to do anything differently, and I automatically assume that means the league isn't going to be calling it the way they've been calling it, and they didn't. There were, I think, 3 roughing the passer penalties in all of football last week.
Were there that many? Yeah, you're right. 3 is
there were 3. One of them was atrocious. The Raiders-Browns game, the hit on Baker Mayfield, it was he didn't even fall down. He just got a little push, and it was a penalty. But other than that, the league seems to have calmed down on that. So back to the Whitehead thing, he did a great job with his technique, but I am feeling more confident that when they thank you, Daniel. Yes, Mark Murphy. It did pop back into my head. I don't know. Maybe it's this High Life I'm drinking is deleting things as I speak.
Delete. Okay.
So Whitehead did what we're hoping they'll do, but I'm feeling more and more confident that the league is moving on from the ridiculousness that we saw in the first
so
few
I know
weeks.
that whole topic has gotten a ton of play, and hopefully we're not talking about it ever again, and
right.
So it's fine. So, but on sticking with the safeties and with Whitehead is playing over Josh Jones. Josh Jones was healthy and played on special teams. He did not play on defense. I didn't get any kind of clarification as to what's going on there. Now, Whitehead is a guy who, if you remember last season, he's the one who converted that fake punt against Cleveland. I get it was against the Browns, but players make plays. I say it all the time.
Yeah.
And Whitehead just has the makings of that guy who's not afraid to seize the moment and do something special. Mm-hmm. Even though he's not a supreme talent, right. He is assignment sure and he does well. So he's getting the nod over Josh Jones, your second-round pick. I don't know if you have any theories on this. The only thing I can think of is that Jones was hurt. And Mike McCarthy's just doing his stupid thing where he decides to wait forever to bring in the obvious guy.
They like to ease guys in. That's what they call it, right? So they like to ease guys in, like Aaron Jones. We saw them quote unquote ease him in, which is driving everybody crazy. So they like to ease guys in. I don't think later in the season Josh Jones is the one sitting on the bench. I don't. He's more of an athlete than Whitehead,
right.
And the way that they used Whitehead, Josh Jones would be better in those situations. Like he's. What's his 40 time? It's like 43. He's got very fast 40 time, and that's the kind of guy that they could have played that same. So the technique was they bring a defensive back in the nickel back to the outside of the outside linebacker, and then he goes into the B gap for the blitz. So that means he bounces inside of the tackle, and so what that does is the outside linebacker rushes upfield, the tackle goes with him, and it's almost like the parting of the seas, and there's an open gap for the defensive back to go into. Josh Jones is faster than Whitehead, and I think
but Josh Jones has to get there and know how to get there and be and make sure that he does. He struggled at times last year. But I don't know how you keep a talent like that on the bench. You've got to eventually get him in there on defense, and especially because the cornerback room had gotten thin for a while. It's getting a little bit healthier now, and the safety play had not looked great. There was some much improved play this past game, especially by Clinton-Dix with the pick.
Yep.
Really nice play because that was a 50-50 ball on a big wide receiver, and he basically said, you know what, I'm going after it. And he
Great
went
play.
after it, knocked the receiver down, took the ball, wasn't flagged for it, and it's like, hey, wow, we got rewarded for playing good football.
Right. And he's been so
maligned, just
disappointing.
He's getting pummeled by fans.
He doesn't like to make contact. Like, it's clear that he doesn't like to. It's not a matter of, we're guessing that he doesn't like to. He makes it very clear he doesn't want to make contact when he feels like it's not entirely necessary. So to go in there and get that ball, contact be damned, it was a good play from to get the ball, go for the ball.
Well, it was a highlight reel play, and you're not used to seeing that from him. But that's the thing is, like, okay, so he had the nice tackle against the Bears on Cohen on third down to save to get the Bears off the field and to save a late drive from converting.
Yeah.
And it's like every once in a while he just shows up in a moment of brilliance.
Right.
And I don't care how many of his interceptions are off of tipped balls.
Yeah.
Because there is something to be said about being there to catch the ball.
Right.
And he's got an interception now in 3 straight games.
I think the issue is that he takes plays off. He's a player who takes plays off. He takes it easy, and then he shows up and makes a big play once in a while. He's a playmaker who decides when to make the plays.
That's an interesting theory. I've not heard that before. Have you seen that on film?
Nope. That's just my take from watching game to game, week in and week out. I think he is a guy who shows up and will make a big play, but there are also times where he plays like a complete doofus. Like, I think it's by choice. He makes clear business decisions when you're watching the game. You see him where he should go in and be aggressive and make the tackle. Instead, he skirts around the guy and kind of plays this like contained game and lets somebody else come in and clean up. But sometimes, like against I think it was week 2, there was a touchdown. It was against Washington. There's a touchdown over the middle. He should have lit that guy up. He just kind of lets him get into the end zone. I think he decided, I'm not gonna get penalized. I'm not gonna get hurt. He scored. That's his decision. His decision was he's going to score, and that's it.
I have heard that he does make business decisions, and I've seen some film breakdown that kind of illustrated as much. I thought you were maybe going the route of you believe that if a player is capable of making a play at all, he should be making them all the time. Because
if he's capable, he should be trying. And it's clear sometimes that he's not trying to make a play. He's trying to stay away from penalties, stay away from injuries, stay away from fines. It's clear to see when you're watching the game. You don't even have to ask him. You can just tell by his actions that he doesn't really want in on any of that contact, and he's kind of letting the other guys around him make those plays.
I think he's back, and no one thinks he's coming back, but what are you going to do?
I don't think he's coming back.
But you've got Kentrell Bryce, Jermaine Whitehead. You've got Tremont Williams as an aging veteran who can slip back there and play safety. Josh Jones is not a cover safety as far as we know. Right. And so are they gonna go wide receiver in this next draft and draft 3 rookie safeties in the mid rounds and hope that one of them turns into a star? You got to bring him back.
Let me get to that, but I just want to let Nate know we are going to get to your question about McCarthy and his future with the Packers. That is for later in the show. We will talk about that.
Oh, we weren't going to talk about that.
Oh, we're not.
Because remember
we're never going to talk about that. Is what you're saying?
Well, there's nothing to talk about. They're fine.
No, we're talking about that.
We'll get there, Nate.
And then Daniel says that he feels like HaHa might just be stepping it up regularly soon. Like he's going to start playing this way regularly.
I'm not going to get fooled into that. 4 years later, this is his 5th year.
Right.
5 years in, I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying until I see it happen 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Okay, fine. But until then, no, I'm not buying it. But I would rather have him back there than the combination of Bryce and Whitehead.
Okay, so let's get back to your question because Quiet Storm says he's coming back. Packers don't have any better options. He agrees with you.
Yes, that's exactly what I think. And also at this point right now, even though he's got decent numbers, he's not going to cost him a ton of money. He's not going to get a big contract.
Let me ask you this. In the offseason, when they traded Demarius Randall, what did Packer fans say? What did they say?
You are foolish. Why are you doing
traded
this?
Your
you
best
traded
corner.
your best corner away.
You don't have any other options, and now look at this corner group.
Well,
but this is the thing. It's not just about drafting safeties. Free agents were a big part of it. Tramon Williams was a big part of fixing that cornerback group. They can do the same thing with the safety group. And it doesn't have to – HaHa is not that much better than options that are going to be available in week 2 of free agency.
Is Andrew Sendejo going to be a free agent from the Vikings?
No, I don't know, but I don't want him because –
I can't believe I mispronounced his name.
He's
if you follow me on Twitter, you know
I think that was right.
If you follow me on Twitter, that's not how I refer to him.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think Gutekunst maybe has some options there. I think it's going to be an interesting debate. I'm selfishly hoping that maybe he stays because I have a jersey that I'd really like to not have to get rid of that I just got. But I'm happy to if I need to. So, the defense balled out.
Yeah.
Your assessment on the 2 rookie corners, Jair Alexander and Josh Jackson, who both played most of the game. Obviously, Alexander had the nice pick. Jackson, I thought, held it down on his side too. And they might not be ready to take on the likes of a Golden Tate and Marvin Jones like they're going to see this week. But I didn't hate what I saw from those guys on the outside if Kevin King or Tramon can't go.
Right. I liked it too. I want to get to this comment from Daniel real quick. He said, Demarius Randall isn't that great. Well, guess what, Daniel? Neither is HaHa. He's not that great either. So I think the comparison is there. The rookie corners, yes. I mean, Alexander is he's got this swagger. He just has this attitude that he carries with him.
Did you see Kelvin Benjamin try to poke him in the eye? He got so frustrated with him after a catch.
No, it didn't.
Oh, I tweeted about it right afterwards. He tried to poke. It was at the beginning of the game, and Alexander's already getting under his skin. And then Kelvin Benjamin was the receiver on HaHa's interception, too.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, you're getting your butt kicked, and you're getting, like, banged around, and you're, like, a big dude. These aren't your father's Packers anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought the rookies played really well.
So here's an idea. Peter Bukowski about Josh Jackson. I think it was Bukowski. It was somebody that I respect. So this isn't just random Twitter fodder. Suggested Josh Jackson a move to safety in the offseason.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily have the speed at corner. Now he seems like a good corner, and maybe they don't need to make that move. And he plays faster than his 40 time. But maybe Josh Jackson is a guy who would play well at safety, and you want him back deep. He's a ball hawk. You want him back deep, searching for the football. I think that guy at safety would make plenty of plays. And then the question is, okay, what do you do at corner? I'm telling you, man, free agency is not out the window for this team anymore.
You better hope then, okay, fine, then you better hope that there is some value corner that hits the market that the Packers have scouted that no one else knows about, or Bashaud Breeland balls the H out through the rest of this year, and they bring him back, and he can hold it down on the other side if you're going to move Jackson to safety, because you've got a young player on a manageable contract who can maybe play corner on the outside. He'll be a year wiser. Why wouldn't you just roll with it and say, we've got our corner room figured out for the next 4 or 5 years. They're going to play well. Let's get the back end balling out, solidify the offense. I mean, it just – I think if you do that, I think you're disrupting some of what I like to refer to as the plan.
Right. Well, consistency is important. Moving things around too much.
And continuity. What other C words can we throw out there?
The most inappropriate one popped into my head.
Worded.
It's the only one I can think of now.
My fault.
I think moving Jackson to safety would be good for the individual. I think he would fit well there, but you don't have to because he fits well where he's at. I think he's going to be a really good corner. So I think that they'll be able to get somebody as good, if not better than HaHa, for cheaper than what HaHa is going to be next offseason.
He's not going to cost that much. I'm telling you right now, you'll be surprised. It's almost going to be like Greg Jennings. But HaHa's not going to be as dumb. Nobody could possibly be as dumb the way that Greg Jennings tried to leave Green Bay.
Yeah.
So defensively, I think we pretty much hit on all. I mean, there was a lot of sacks on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Josh Allen fell right back into Reggie Gilbert. Josh Allen actually roughed the rusher. He fell on top of Reggie Gilbert with all of his body weight, and not a single flag was thrown.
Yeah, so where was the penalty for that?
I'm very disappointed in that. He landed into Reggie Gilbert. Reggie Gilbert's like, "Oh, hello there. How do you do, sir?
Right.
And come on down to the ground with me here." So there was a lot of that going on. The defense played really well offensively, and this is going to then parlay us into another topic of conversation
that Nate is dying to hear about.
Offensively, the Packers should have, and past Aaron Rodgers-led offenses have put up 38 to 41 in games like that. They only scored 22.
Yeah. It did feel like the whole game, it just felt like the offense's wheels were spinning, and they were lucky that the defense played as well as they did. Because if the defense struggled the way that we've seen this defense struggle in the past, the Bills win that football game. If Dom Capers is still the coordinator for that defense, the Bills win that football game. Because the offense didn't do enough. It wasn't there.
Right.
And I think a big part of it is Mr. McCarthy. I think it's and Rodgers wouldn't be saying that publicly if that wasn't true.
So I'll start with this because this is going to also be something we're going to tease and talk about a little bit when we talk about the next game. Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams both had the same number of carries. They both carried the ball 11 times. Except when Aaron Jones carried the ball 11 times, he got a lot more yards. And so one of the big issues was, did he get used enough? Was he used enough? I think it's obvious that Aaron Jones was not the issue that I have with McCarthy. And one of the reasons why I'll get into your camp is 13 years in, this zebra is not changing his stripes. He is going to ride and die with this formula of you're going to earn your way onto the field. I don't care if you took your first carry for 30 yards and you look beautiful doing it and you were about to trip and fall and you did a half cartwheel to keep yourself up and you gained another 10 yards.
Right.
You were suspended for 2 weeks and you will earn your way back.
If Aaron Jones wasn't suspended to start the season, is he the number one back?
He's already. He's got more yards.
Is he getting all the snap? Is he getting more snaps than the other guys?
He should. Yes, by now. Our own Zach Jacobson today. Aaron Jones has more yards with 19 fewer carries this season than Dalvin Cook. And I know that the Vikings offensive line is not that great, but that's just for comparison there. Everyone looks at Dalvin Cook as one of the top backs in the league, with Le'Veon Bell still not reporting to Pittsburgh. So Aaron Jones he's got a star in the making, and he's got star written all over him.
Right.
It's
beyond just a good player. He looks like a star.
It's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer. And this week against the Detroit Lions, who are the worst defense against the rush by a whopping 16 yards per game. They're giving up 157 yards a game rushing.
Yeah.
If Mike McCarthy, you are listening to this show, if you do not hand the ball, my eyes are closed because I'm praying you're listening. Hand the ball to Aaron Jones. I quit you forever. I quit you.
Aaron Jones will light that Lions defense up if they use him. Okay, so
that's what scares me is the if they use him, because a lot of that is up to McCarthy. Now, all right, the offense didn't look great. I will say, Jimmy Graham got his first touchdown. Aaron Jones looked good. The running game wasn't total garbage. Ty Montgomery had a couple of nice plays. Devontae Adams has got a hamstring injury. He didn't practice today, Wednesday. He'll play this week, though. I'm not worried that he's not going to play, but he's got a hamstring injury. One of the bigger concerns, Geronimo Allison had a concussion. He did not practice today. I don't think he's going to play this week. I have no source there. I just am guessing it's a concussion. And you still have Randall Cobb not practicing as of today. So if they're without Geronimo Allison and Randall Cobb going into this matchup, you've got Devontae Adams, Jimmy Graham, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, so
at wide receiver.
I'm here to speak for Packer fans who like crazy ideas. That's what I'm going to do right now. Ready? Sign Dez Bryant. I mean, what choice do you have? If you're going into this game with those guys at receiver, you need another option. Jason's walking away. He's quitting the show right now. He's quitting the show. Sign Dez Bryant. Just do it. Do it because You cannot go into this game with a group of guys Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust. Because what does Aaron Rodgers do? And yeah, Dez isn't going to come in and light it up. He's going to need time to be ready to play.
Dez isn't going to come in at all, Jeremy.
He's coming. He's on his way. You know, but I always have a free agent that I believe is on his way. It was who?
It was Khalil Mack.
It was Revis. No, it was Darrelle Revis all last year. I believed he was coming out of the shadows to be a Green Bay Packer.
There is no specific time of day and day of the week that I love more than Saturday morning every week. And that Saturday morning was so quickly ruined when I found out that he was going to the Bears. It was all right. It was bad.
So I want to get back to McCarthy because I have something I need to say.
Hold on. No, you have this look on your face like you literally thought you were going to get away with this, and I was not going to have a response.
I'm pleased with my idea.
Your idea is bunk. Okay, is that even a word?
People in the chat also agree.
Bunk.
Sign Dez Bryant.
Dez Bryant is not coming to Green Bay. It's not going to happen, and nor would that be a good idea at all. If you were going to sign Dez Bryant, you would have done it already. And if you were going to sign Dez Bryant, I don't think you're letting Jordy Nelson walk away. So it's not going to happen. The Packers receiver room is not in that bad a state of affairs. No one's going on injured reserve. So why on earth would you sign Dez Bryant? If you want a player who's mentally ready to come in and play ball, this guy trashed his old team and his old head coach, Jason Garrett, and the Dallas Cowboys. And now all of a sudden in the last week, he wants to go back to Dallas.
Okay, but here's the thing.
He wants to be a Dallas Cowboy again.
You're going to sign him so cheap you can cut him immediately. If he's trouble, you get rid of him.
No, this is the most dysfunctional. We've seen this whole thing play out on TV before. It's called Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
You remember the story of the?
No, and it's like, I love you, but I hate you. Wait, go away, but I love you. Hold on, break a bottle over your head. Whoa, what's happening? Like that's what it is. It's all of that craziness balled up into and then put in a little can like this. Bravazzi Limonata, Italian soda, and squirt it. It's ridiculous. No, Dez Bryant's not coming. Okay, McCarthy. Get back to McCarthy.
Hold on. I have to say, remember the '96 season and what the wide receiver group looked like, and how the season ended, and Andre Rison being on the team, and guys just like them piecing together a group because guys kept getting hurt, right? And then guys that they brought in late, like having an impact and being important late in the season, right?
Okay.
That could be Dez Bryant. I'm all for the story. I would love that story, and I would love for Dez to come in, and he's not going to light it up because that's just not who he is anymore. But to be an impact for this team and do something late in the season that would propel them to win a Super Bowl, I'm all for it. It would be awesome.
All right. To respond to your crazy idea with my final bomb drop crazy idea, I'll just tell you. Okay, fine. The reason I don't want Dez Bryant to come in is because I'm not sure I'm ready to give up on and move on from the idea of Andre Rison being the most savior wide receiver in the history of the Packers franchise. Boom. The end. Done. End of discussion.
Daniel wants us to stop it, so we're going to do that. All right, Mike McCarthy. I'm going to say something a little, probably not crazy. A lot of people want Mike McCarthy fired. You can count me as partially one of them.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
This was not the messaging that was given to me before the show.
It kind of was.
Now you're hedging.
Okay. So here's the deal. I believe in Mike McCarthy. I think he's a great coach. I think if anybody can figure this out, Mike McCarthy can. But he hasn't. There's a trend here. We've been watching the same thing for 3 years. An offense that sputters and hope they get it figured out. And then halfway through the season, Rodgers says some catchphrase, and then he starts lighting it up. But then we've also seen an offense that will do things that are successful and then go back to the things that aren't working because McCarthy loves smashing his face into a brick wall. The relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, I don't think is very healthy. And you can say what you want about it. Maybe they just had a little spat. But Aaron Rodgers has been vocal and has been he's openly criticized Mike McCarthy before. This isn't the first time. And I have an issue with that. Now, maybe that's Aaron Rodgers. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is a little bit of a diva. Okay, I think we can all admit to that.
He's a really good quarterback throwing football diva.
Right. So you deal with it. But if Aaron Rodgers wants, I feel like Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play with McCarthy anymore. He doesn't want to play for McCarthy anymore.
That is deep.
I don't think he wants to.
I don't agree.
But I've thought this for 3 years. When they've sputtered the last 3 years and Rodgers has gotten into this place where he says things like this publicly, it makes me feel like he doesn't want to play with Mac. But here's the thing. I think Mike McCarthy is a great coach. The issue is that it's like Bill Walsh said, you get 10 years and it's time to move on. That doesn't mean Mike McCarthy's not good. I just think the time comes where it's time for a change. And I'm not saying they should fire him right now. That's silliness, and that's not going to happen. He's going to have to play through the season. And if they win a Super Bowl, he's not going anywhere. If they go deep in the playoffs, he's not going anywhere. Things have to fail. Okay, there has to be a failure in the season for him to be fired.
Okay, let me ask you this, because we've not had this conversation on this particular show.
Okay.
All right, so you have to answer the question, and I'm making you go first.
I'm ready.
How far into the – I'm assuming if they don't make the playoffs, you think he should be fired immediately. So let's assume they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
How far into the playoffs do they need to go for him to secure his job?
Before the season, I said NFC Championship. I think I'm going to stick with that. They need to be in the NFC Championship for him to keep his job. Listen, he's only got 1 year on his deal after this. He's not under contract long term. They signed him to a 1 year extension, basically. And I think the reason for that was to give Brian Gutekunst the choice. And that's the other thing that matters at the end of the day. Does Brian Gutekunst want Mike McCarthy to be his head coach going forward?
That's a fair question.
He might not.
That's a fair question. But let me paint a picture for you, okay? We get to the end of the season, and the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings are tied with the Packers somehow.
Yep. Okay.
And the Packers do everything they can, but they just barely miss out on either a bye week or a division crown because of the tie, and their fate changes. They have to go on the road. They get knocked out sooner. You're still holding McCarthy to that.
I think it's not just that. It's not just record, and it's not. It's like if this offense starts lighting it up, and they have a fantastic season, the stats are where we all assume they should be. And they fall short for this reason or that, there's a possibility that in that you still keep McCarthy around because the offense played the way that you assumed it would, and that's McCarthy's gig. He runs the offense. So, obviously he's the head coach, and my issue with McCarthy is that there was a long time where we all thought Don Capers should be fired. And who does it fall on that it didn't happen for a long time? Mike McCarthy. He was responsible for that choice, right? Mm-hmm. He clings on to what he thinks is good longer than he should sometimes, right? So he's really stubborn with what he thinks will succeed. And I think we've seen that as a trend in the offense, him doing things in the offense that are frustrating. For example, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones should be on the field. He should be getting the ball more than any running back on the team because every time he touches the ball, he is leaps and bounds better than the guys around him. And that doesn't mean those guys aren't good. It just means Aaron Jones he looks like a special talent. And Mike has him on the bench for what?
Okay. I have a very convoluted theory here. And it is that the more the season goes on and the more Aaron Jones is on the field, the more defenses know he's getting the ball. They're eventually going to start to figure out ways to limit him. Okay?
Right.
When you get to the playoffs, the teams that get to the playoffs are good at stopping everything. They're good at stopping the run. They're good at stopping the pass. They're good at stopping teams that have a good running back and good wide receivers.
Right.
Mike McCarthy feels like he's got to keep his edge, and he's got to keep an ability to keep defenses guessing late in the season with multiple looks. Montgomery, Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones, and it's going to be too difficult to confuse playoff defenses when Aaron Jones is out there and 9 out of 10 times he's getting the ball, and you're basically just saying, hey, good luck stopping our runner. He's really, really good. Well, the Rams have a really good defense. They're going to stop him. And they also have a good secondary, and they're going to be able to stop Aaron Jones at the same time cover Davante Adams with just one single corner or a corner and a safety over the top because they're good all around. So I think that might be one of the things that McCarthy is doing. The other problem is he and Aaron Rodgers apparently admitted to having discussed watching the Rams. They both watched the Rams, not together, but they both watched the Rams game. I think it was Mike Clemens
together,
on Sirius XM Radio.
Under a Snuggie.
Yeah, Sirius XM Radio said they both watched the game. We're talking about some of the things that the Rams did on offense.
Yeah.
Now to your theory, Aaron Rodgers wants Mike McCarthy, but he wants Mike McCarthy to evolve. And Mike McCarthy has not shown any ability to evolve. He does it, but not quickly.
Right.
The game
slow. It's slow, and I think.
Okay, I was at the game against the Patriots in 2014.
Yeah.
Did you watch that game?
Is that the Matt Flynn game?
No.
What was that?
2014 at Lambeau Field.
At Lambeau.
Okay.
I'm sure I watched it.
All of a sudden, I was at the game. The Packers come out, and they are doing things nobody has seen, and they are doing things that they have not tried before. And McCarthy coached his ass off in that game.
Yep.
Packers beat the Patriots.
Yep.
I don't know if any other game I've been to there is going to beat that one.
Right.
Just because of who it was and how it went down. He's capable of doing it.
Right.
I just don't, it's like you said with HaHa. He just he decides when he's going to do it. Mike McCarthy just sometimes decides like.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man, because he has those games. Like, and it always tends to happen against the Patriots. I wouldn't be surprised if he has one of those games against the Rams this year. And because that's what he does. A big time opponent comes in and you think, oh no, this is scary. And then McCarthy calls one hell of a game and they pull off something they shouldn't have or you don't expect. They look better than you think. They almost beat the Patriots with Matt Flynn a few years ago. And Matt Flynn is Matt Flynn. But they looked good because McCarthy, whatever he did before that game, whatever his plan was beautiful.
Might have won the game if they didn't give up a 70-yard kick return to Dan Connolly, offensive lineman.
Yeah. So that's very disappointing to think about. I remember watching this fat dude run down the field. Like, what the hell is happening?
Again, I for those of you who don't know me as well, I have this propensity to remember things that
are sad.
I don't need to, and there's other important things that get blocked out of my brain because these needless facts are sitting in there. I'm bringing up these points for our listeners because there's a faction of listeners that fall on all sides of everything that we've covered so far. And it's just like, I don't want everyone to think that Aaron Jones is the ticket to the motherland here. Mm-hmm. He's very good and he should get more touches, but I'm telling you right now, when you get to playoff football, you gotta go with what you're good at and with what got you there. And I'm telling you right now, this Packers offense, it needs to gel overall. The offensive line has to stay healthy. They did. Brian Bulaga. Byron Bell didn't look bad at guard. Maybe they have a solution there at guard between he and McCray, which is a good thing. They've got to stay healthy, but the offense has to gel. And I just don't know how much there is to make of this Rodgers-McCarthy thing right now.
Right. Okay. So I just want to say, like I said, I think if anybody can fix this, McCarthy can. I know you don't fire him today. He needs his chance to do that. He's earned it. His success with this team, and especially in the playoffs, he's earned his chance to improve what's broken, and he can. He just needs to, and that's the frustrating thing when you know there's a thing that needs improvement, and you have your quarterback in a press conference complaining about things that need improvement, and then it takes weeks for things to change. Now, your theory with Aaron Jones, the one issue I have with that is you have Aaron Rodgers. So you bring Aaron Jones on the field. Sure, defenses can assume you're going to run the football. They can bring 8 men in the box and be prepared for Aaron Jones all day long. And guess what? Aaron Rodgers is going to throw it over the top with great success all day long. So it's fine because you're not playing with Josh Allen. You're not playing with a Mitch Trubisky and thinking like, I have to lean on my run game and hope that my quarterback can figure this out and beat defenses that are playing against the run. Aaron Rodgers can beat that, and it makes defenses stay more honest. So great. Play Aaron Jones like, they're just going to run the ball a ton. Aaron Rodgers is going to let you up.
What happened to Rodgers' more latitude to change the play at the line of scrimmage? I mean, listen, dude. You're going to complain about single high looks and not getting the ball to Devontae Adams.
I have the same question.
I understand there's certain personnel, and maybe you don't have the personnel in there where you want to get the ball to Adams on that against that look. But how many times do you see a quarterback throw a ball up there and give his receiver a chance to make the play? Then let him make the play. He's supposed to be your elite number one, wide out. Let him make the play, change the call.
Right. So you don't like the game plan, right? I guess the problem is we don't know what Rodgers has available to him when he lines up. How much change can he make, right? But at the same time, he's saying, like, we need to get the ball to Devontae more. Yeah, but, like, Devontae's on the field, and you can adjust the play at the line, right? Like, if that's what you want to do, can't you just do it? Because you're Aaron Rodgers. You've always been able to just do that stuff.
If you watch the recap and the film on Devontae Adams and his footwork, I'm convinced that if you need anything under 10 yards – Devontae Adams can separate and get it for you. His footwork is phenomenal. So just change the play.
And he always makes somebody miss. Like the first guy's always going to miss.
Well, and I feel like I maybe we're being too simpleton right now with the way we're talking about it, making it sound like it's as easy as saying, okay, like the Miami game with the fake spike and they've got telepathy. But they kind of should at this point. They've been together for a number of years.
Enough. Yeah.
They've got a number of years, and you've got other weapons on the field to draw defense away. You got Jimmy Graham and
Aaron Rodgers has all these complaints, but he's always had flexibility in the offense. Like, is it really fair to blame it all on Mike McCarthy when Aaron Rodgers is the one playing quarterback? Like, yeah, you want to get the ball to these guys, but you're the one throwing the football, not Mike McCarthy. Yeah, he calls the play, but don't you have to? Aren't you the one at the line that has the ability to change what you're doing?
Do you think that McCarthy went in this new hierarchy of power and he called a sit down? Kind of like the mob bosses do.
Yeah, and
he called a sit down with Murphy and Goot before the season and said, "Listen, I need some support because I'm doing a very mild McCarthy right now because my quarterback likes to change the play a lot at the line of scrimmage, and I want to make sure he's held accountable." Or maybe Philbin was involved too and said, "Hey, well, we can't have all this changery and wizardry going on there." The other thing is that Rodgers could change the play at the line of scrimmage when he was able to run around like a maniac back there. His mobility might be affecting that too. Maybe he can't. Roll out or get mobile the way he wants to make certain plays happen if he's going to change them. These are just some theories I'm trying to throw out there because we're not getting a ton of information. But I think at the end of it all, let's be honest, and folks in the chat right now, back me up here. They just want to win. They just want to see the Packers win games. They don't care who's getting along and who's not getting along. Just do your job for 3 hours and win a game. How many of us go to work, and hopefully not many, but how many people go to work for 8 hours a day and have major issues with what leadership and their bosses are doing, but they grind through it and they just work for 8 hours, and it's like, just do your job. Just do your job and make sure you're getting paid and don't lose your job.
Yeah, but 90% of the time when people quit their job, they quit their boss. So if you don't like your boss, you quit. That's normal. So Aaron Rodgers isn't quitting, but he doesn't seem to like his boss right now.
He doesn't seem to, but after this many years, I would not be surprised to see it go either way. Either it's a huge blow up. I don't think. Yeah. I think they learned their lesson in 2013 in Cincinnati. I don't think they're going to let it manifest on the sideline. You might see some body language, but I will tell you right now, and we're going to be talking about this, I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it, the body language between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers is going to be scrutinized and analyzed.
Every bit of it. It's going to be annoying. But watch them, though, come out in this game and light it up.
In the age of screen grabs and memes, there's going to be so much misinterpretation. It's going to be edited just as well as like a reality show where a reaction to something somebody said is something that happened like 3 hours prior. Like,
right. Yes. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's I think it's it's going to be a little ridiculous. So prepare, because on Sunday they're going to talk about it. But
so if Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to play more, because Cobb and Allison might miss this game,
and Dez will be there too. I'm sorry.
You know what? We've got all this nice equipment, Jeremy. The one thing we are missing is the mute button. I
have the mute button. It's on my computer.
It is. If MVS is going to play more this week, he had a nice 38-yard catch, and I think Rodgers he's got to integrate him because you're down enough options. You got to throw the ball to him.
Yeah.
Have we seen enough? My answer is no. Have we seen enough from him to feel confident he can come in and play a full game and be effective in the offense?
No. To me right now, he's Jeff Janis. That doesn't mean he'll always be Jeff Janis, but that's where he's at in his professional career at the moment.
Jeff Janis never caught anything down the sideline. It was always in the end zone.
Okay, he is better than Jeff Janis at this moment. I think he's better than Jeff Janis, but not by much. Okay. He is currently a guy who's great at special teams, and that's why you want him on your team, and you want him active every Sunday. I'm not ready to trust any of the rookies. Jamon Moore looked like trash in the preseason. Not trash. He just dropped too many footballs. He seemed like a head case. And then Equinemius, I thought he would have played more last Sunday, but Jamon got snaps over Equinemius.
Well, this is when you get to the bottom of the depth chart, it's when I feel like politics start to play into it more than anything. So what I want to know, though, is I watch other teams play, and I watch a lot of these smoke routes and these bubble screens, reverse. There was a really nice, I think it was Ben Fennell, who showed the reverse, and it was a fake reverse to Geronimo Allison when Marquez Valdez-Scantling is on the field, but MVS was called on to block, but he's got like twice the speed, so nobody was falling for it. Like, why can't the Packers do some of these things? You've got bigger wide receivers, so get the ball in the hands of your fastest guy and let the bigs block.
Right.
Push the limits. Rub routes, little,
What you're saying you want to see is more of what they did against the Bears in the second half.
Little pick without it being a pick play. Yeah, I think there's room for creativity, but the problem is, and the thing that's so frustrating is that Mike McCarthy is going to show us some of this and he's going to do some of this, and it's going to be great, but then we're going to say, like, well, where was that during the Washington game? They might have scored more points or they could have won that game. And but there's examples of coaches who just, for one reason or another, and this has happened against the Packers and it's favored the Packers, and so you don't mind it, of why they get away from doing what they do so well, and they play right into the hands of what the other team does well, and they don't win a game because they didn't take a risk or they didn't try. And I just think the NFL is just so perplexing that way sometimes with coaching, and I think, coaches are humans too. I get it. There's a risk factor. And the one thing I will say that I have a bit of a problem with, because of the type of fan that I am, because I'm more apt to say, how many times did I say go for it on fourth down at this past week, and it would not have been a good idea. Right. But it's like, listen, establish some momentum. You're at home. Go for it on fourth down. Mike McCarthy is one of the most risk-averse coaches I've ever seen, who has got the success that he does. So the problem is that his numbers and his metrics don't show him that he's doing it totally wrong. Right. He just had a bad game. He just had a bad game in Washington, and they got hosed against the Vikings. So in his mind,
all right, we have so much to talk about with Mike McCarthy. Like, we didn't even talk about the give-up plays on third down. There were 2 of them that were just really frustrating. So we didn't even get to that. But we probably shouldn't, because we should. Many people are going to listen to this show, like listen to the replay. They're going to turn it off after I said Mike McCarthy should be fired, and none of what I say now is going to matter. It's early in the season. Mike McCarthy should not be fired right now. He is on the hot seat. I've said that before. I believe that. I believe that if they don't perform to a level that Brian Gutekunst is satisfied with, Gutekunst is going to have his shot to bring in a new head coach.
Yes, I'll go there. You cannot, with Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, you cannot give up on third down. If you're inside of 15 yards, you cannot give up on third down. Also, PSA, if you've got 11 yards to gain on third down, 10 yards, 7, 6, insert number, right, the ball needs to travel that many yards in the air. You can't throw a 3-yard slant and expect Devontae Adams to pick up the other 12.
Or run a dive or a stretch or whatever they ran, like running these
the other team
run
gets
plays.
Paid too. They're going to tackle the ball carrier. Like, throw the ball as many yards as you need to gain. If you don't have a play, fine. Throw the damn thing out of bounds. Right. But don't give up on third. If you hand the ball off to Jamal Williams on third down and there's more than 5 yards to gain,
you quit. You quit on that play. You quit.
And I hate it.
Yep. All right. It's terrible. Terrible stuff.
We're moving on. We're on to Detroit.
On to Detroit. We're going to make this quick because we're right at an hour here.
All right, we're getting close. We're getting close.
All right, they're playing Detroit. They're in Detroit this week. Detroit's run defense, terrible,
garbage, last in the league.
They are terrible.
So here's the deal. Here's the game plan. I'm going to do the game planning for Mike McCarthy. I'm going to give him a day off. 3-3. Say it with me. 3-3.
Aaron Jones.
33. 3-3.
I'm with you.
If you really need Ty Montgomery on the field because it makes you feel better, Mike McCarthy, then split him out wide. But Aaron Jones needs to be in the backfield.
Okay. You can bring Aaron Jones in with Jamal Williams, with Ty Montgomery.
Oh, wait a minute,
do all
Jeremy.
kinds
Don't
of stuff with those.
Crazy.
Like, Aaron Jones needs to be on the football field, but that doesn't mean those other guys can't be on the football field.
Can Mercedes Lewis also be out there?
Hey, you know what? I'm sick and tired of this Mercedes Lewis garbage. I have a theory. Lance Kendricks is out there because he gets open. I think they're seeing it on film that Lance Kendricks is getting open for big plays. He's dropping the damn football. Stop putting him on the field. He's always dropped the football. That's his history in football.
There's this thing called totality of success. And if you don't finish the totality of the success, then it's not a success. Getting open is only half of the equation.
So I think that they're like, they see him on film getting open. They're like, we just got to keep trying. He's going to snap into it. No, he's not. He's not going to snap into it. How old is the dude? He's been in the league, 5 years? I don't know. That's a guess. But it's long enough that there's enough of a sample size we know. We know that he struggles with drops. Just freaking play Mercedes Lewis. You paid the guy, put him on the field, and stop giving him 14% of the snaps. It's so frustrating that Lance Kendricks is getting almost as many snaps as Jimmy Graham. I don't know if that's accurate. It's pretty darn close, though.
I don't know.
I
don't know. I feel like this feeds right back into the whole McCarthy thing, which we're trying to move away from.
I'm going to pull it up right now.
So the Lions, that's fine. So the Lions, the big thing here is going to be, I think the Lions passing game is going to test the young secondary of the Packers. Jair Alexander is going to play more. Josh Jackson. Mm-hmm. Marvin Jones and Golden Tate are not what Buffalo threw out there and called wide receivers.
Yeah.
It's going to be tougher. Tate, as much as we hate him, can still make plays. Marvin Jones is very quick and he's savvy.
Right.
And Eric Ebron's gone, so he's not there anymore. But the Lions also have an okay running game. It's not great. They have LeGarrette Blount, so he's a tough, big runner.
Mm-hmm.
and Green Bay is going to have their hands full with all of that stuff.
I don't think it's going to matter. They're going to be chasing the Packers offense all day. I really believe that.
I hope so. But here's the problem. The problem is turnovers and weird things that happen that change the script of the game. When are we going to see Mike Daniels ball out and emerge and have a huge game? I want to see a game where Kenny Clark and Mike Daniels just like eat all day long, and it's both of them. Because Clark is a bona fide stud on this defense. I have bought in 100%.
They've been close, but they haven't had that game that
Daniels has a great motor, and he's still a valuable player. But right now, he's just clogging up guys and taking up guys.
I think he's doing his job. The defense having the success that it's having proves that those guys are doing their job.
They are, but the linebackers also need to finish and get in the gap and make the plays. They're not always doing it.
All right, so the numbers. Jimmy Graham, 54 snaps. He had the same amount of snaps as Valdez-Scantling, which I think is interesting, but that's probably due to injury. Next on the list, Lance Kendricks, 35 snaps. So not quite the same, but still, next guy on the list.
Are they including special teams in that, though?
That is a great question.
Probably, because I don't think he played that many snaps. Oh, yeah, because the
Scantling numbers, that 54 snaps for Scantling, no. He
didn't play that many snaps.
That's a great point. That's probably special teams.
Yep.
But Mercedes Lewis, 17 snaps. 17.
There's got to be a reason. I don't know what's happening in practice. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I guess, from a blocking – McCarthy, that's the thing. What I'm saying is McCarthy's like, I can't put him out there because it's too obvious what we're going to do if you put him out there. Well, then why did you sign him?
Right.
At some point, you have to line a guy up and say, do your job.
Isn't it more obvious when he only plays 17 snaps and you bring him out for those 17 snaps and you run the ball?
Yes.
I mean, you got to have him out there more to
it is. But he
create
can still catch a ball.
unpredictability.
He can catch a ball. He did it against the Packers in Week 1 of 2016. He had like a freaking 40-yard touchdown run when he was running like a bag of rocks in his shoes.
So Daniel has asked a few questions. I think it was Daniel before too. Do you think Mike McCarthy is saving things for later in the season? Do you think that what's going on with Aaron Rodgers is due to the way he's calling the offense is more about Rodgers' injury? And also, do you think that he's holding guys for later in the season to keep him healthy, like Mercedes Lewis?
Maybe. I don't want to say what I don't want to make the comment I want to make right now because I'm going to jinx and I'm not even going to say it. Not even going to say it. Fine. But yes, this team, right. I will say, the team needs to be fresh come the playoff time. That's basically the general idea around what I was going to say, and I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But the Packers' biggest thing here is you've got an opportunity to win a big game on the road, and all you need to do is the obvious. Feed Aaron Jones. Let him run.
Yep.
And if you can't run, you've got Aaron Rodgers. And the Lions secondary, I think they've got like the number 2 passing defense in the league right now. But not like it's related, but just so you know, do you know where the Packers are now ranked after last week? Passing defense?
I am uncertain.
Yards per game allowed?
High. I know it's high.
5th.
Yeah, they're doing well.
5th. So this could be an old school NFC North ground and pound type of game.
I'm going to do this because I love to torture myself. Delete all of those plays from the Minnesota Vikings game that happened after the Clay Matthews penalty. 31% of their offense happened after that play. Delete all of that.
So then you say the Packers might be the top.
Right. They might be the top defense if all of that didn't happen. That shouldn't have happened. We now know the league agrees that shouldn't have happened.
They got 3 turnovers. So if they can start taking the ball over multiple times a game, I like their chances, especially on the road against the Lions.
Right.
I think they'll be in good shape. So the young defense in the secondary is going to be a storyline. On offense,
right.
Rodgers in the offense got to move the ball. You got to be able to run it. And then how do the young receivers play? Are we going to see more of Jamon Moore and Equanimeous St. Brown? I don't know, but you're getting thin.
You're kind of going to have to.
I don't think Allison's going to play. I don't like the chances of him getting out there. It's just the way concussions go.
Right.
Randall Cobb could surprise us in practice on Friday and maybe have a chance to suit up. But then I could see this being a thing where he suits up and then never hardly gets in the game.
I'm just going to leave it on this. Des Bryant. All right, so.
Oh, my God. All right, it's time to go, folks. I'm so sorry. This show was like almost, nothing's a perfect 10, but it was like 9.5.
I said Des Bryant one too many times. Is that what you're saying?
I think we just dipped into the 8s.
Okay, so a few things, throw out some things here. We are doing a giveaway. If you want to win a Leroy Butler 8x10, a signed 8x10, go to our Twitter account at CHTV Live. Follow the instructions there, the pinned tweet. You can see how to win that. It's a great it's a great photo. It's fantastic. It's definitely one you want to hang in your house. So I got that in the mail today. It looks fantastic. I kind of want to keep it, but I can't because we're giving it away, and there's some instructions there for you to win it. So go to at CHTV Live and try to win that. We'll be doing that drawing Sunday at the Watershed during the pregame show. So be listening to the pregame show. We will go live at 9:20?
9:20.
9:20.
9:20. West West Coast time.
Oh, that's our time. Yeah. So 11:20. 11:20 Central.
12:20 Eastern, 11:20 Central.
11:20 Lambeau time. And that's the time that matters to most people listening. So be listening on Sunday. Be listening to the pregame show. We'll be giving that away. You can follow me on Twitter at JeremyRVDL. You can follow Jason at Jason Perrone and connect with us there. We do have a phone number you can call and yell at us later. I don't remember what the number is. You're going to have to look on Twitter.
I guess go on Twitter.
That's just how it is.
And while Jeremy's looking that up right now, because we definitely want to share that number, I will say a quick word about Ticket King, our sponsor, Ticket King. If you're looking for tickets, if you want to go to Lambeau Field, it's the only way to get your tickets is through a source like Ticket King, and they do a much better job and have a lot better service than some of the big guys out there. So go check them out for your Packers tickets and venue tickets for any type of event. They've been a big supporter of ours for the last several years, and a fantastic one. I repeat again, I got my ticket to the San Francisco 49ers Monday night game from Ticket King. Got a nice little value from it too. It's not because of Ticket King necessarily, but it was great, and their service is fantastic.
All right, so on Sunday when you're drunk, you're watching the game and you're drunk, and you have deep emotions you need to share about the Green Bay Packers, you can call this number, 920-395-9030. Keep it fairly family-friendly.
395-9030.
Yep, 920-395-9030. You can give us a call. You can actually text that number too. And it'll come right to my phone, so I might even respond. But we'll.
Is it 928? Is 928 the Green Bay area code?
No, it's 920.
It is 920?
Yeah. Okay. This is a Sheboygan number, but that's still the Green Bay. That's 920.
Sheboygan. All right, everybody, thank you so much for all of you who hopped on to cheeseheadtv.com and to the YouTube chat. Appreciate it. We'll be back next week to talk about Packers and Lions, hopefully breaking down another victory. As always, much love. This has been another edition of Cheesehead TV Live.
Thank you for listening to Cheesehead TV Live. Check out cheeseheadtv.com for more great Packers content.